Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to walk into your new reality and a 3D reality busting technique. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of our longtime subscribers that, Tom, the 3D reality seems so persistent. In fact, I'm finding it hard to not stare at the current 3D. This is what she said in an email today. I'm finding it hard not to stare at the current 3D. Look at the wording there, staring at. Hear this, guys, because this will change everything. It's not about, you don't want to be staring or looking at 3D reality. You want to be looking as 3D reality. Do you hear this? I've talked about this before. Remember, you're creating it by being it, by streaming it through your consciousness. So when you look as that reality, not at the reality. Because when you're looking at the reality, you're implying that it's separate from you. You're implying that you're not creating it, that it's just something outside of you, right? If you keep looking at current 3D from the old self, you will keep seeing the same old things. Hear this, you keep seeing the same old reality because you're looking at it, right? Instead, look as 3D new reality, that new version of yourself. Look as that new reality, right? When you stop needing it, when you stop chasing it, when you stop looking for it, when you start joyfully looking as it and identifying with your new reality, a new version of yourself, it will be your experience. Hear this, when you stop chasing it, when you stop needing it, when you stop looking for it, and then you just simply start joyfully looking as it, as that new reality, identifying with that new reality, that new 3D reality, and that new version of yourself, then it will be your experience. Don't do it to make it manifest or for something to happen. Do it because for the joy of doing it, and then it must be your reality. It must be your experience. That's what we're talking about. That's powerful. Let's unpack this a little bit more. You cannot create a new reality or occupy a new version of yourself until you're willing to leave the old one behind. It really is as simple as leaving the room you're in and walking into a new room. A new room is a new reality. Hear this. We touched on this in the last video about when you close your eyes and then you open them again and you're in a new reality. It really is like that, right? It's only your belief that it needs to be more difficult or your belief that it's so hard to change realities. Do you hear this, right? It requires you to move from what seems so real, your 3D experience right now, to a newly imagined reality. Both realities, in fact, all realities, are only true and real to the extent that you believe it. It's your belief that's what's true. That's what creates reality. Your belief creates reality, and your reality confirms your belief. That's what's going on. So if you keep looking at 3D reality from that old version of yourself, then that reality will confirm your belief, right? That's what you're believing. Your belief creates reality, and your reality confirms your belief. So, how does it work? Well, you believe and you intend something. And then your intention, backed by your beliefs, is projected into the 3D world of apparent solid things, right? The world of apparent facts, solid facts that are hard to move, right? Your intention is backed by those beliefs, and then it's projected into the 3D world of apparent facts. Right? And then you get lost in the drama and the trauma of the projection, right? Or it could be the fun and excitement of the projection if you're really enjoying yourself. You won't mind getting lost in that. But either way, like the movie analogy that we talked about, even though you can enjoy a movie and still know it's not a movie, you can still get lost in it and still enjoy it. That's what we're talking about here. But for some reason, when it's about drama and trauma, you get lost in the projection. You forget. You start resisting it. You start thinking you're not the cause, that it's something that is being imposed on you, right? And you view the projected events, people, and circumstances as cause. They cause that. It's outside of you, right? You lose yourself in the movie scenes. Hear this. When it's good times, when it's fun and excitement, you believe you're the cause. Right? But when it's drama and trauma, when it's unwanted, oh no, it must be them. They caused that, right? You lose yourself in the movie scenes, right? It's okay to get immersed in the movie scenes as long as you know it's a movie scene. Hear this, right? Instead, deliberately and consciously intend. Instead of doing that, instead of deliberately and consciously intending, we react to the already shot movie scene. Hear this. Instead of attending deliberately and consciously and being aware, we react to the already shot movie scene. It was already shot and we're reacting to it. We already created it and we're reacting to it. Do you see the insanity there, guys? So I want to talk about a technique that Abraham Hicks talks about, that spiritual teacher, called segment intending. And then we're going to use it with the movie analogy, right? This isn't the technique that I want to talk about later. That's something different. But I want to talk about this also. Create your intentions for the segment of your day or life that you're moving into. That's all that segment intending is. If you have a meeting in an hour, then you segment intend. You decide, you choose, you intend what that meeting is going to be like, how it's going to play out. Maybe you got to commute to work and it says there's traffic and there's rain and it's going to be slow and there's traffic jams and accidents. Before you leave on your commute, you set your intention that it's going to be a joyous ride, an easy ride, it's going to be joyful, easy, there's no traffic. You intend it and then it's going to be a better experience. It's going to more match your intentions. They're like mini intentions throughout the day as you enter different spaces or different segments or different movie scenes or different movie sets as you go about your day. Hear this, right? The movie analogy is you defining your intentions for the next movie scene of your life, right? What's your intention or belief about the unfoldment of the next scene, right? Maybe it's you're going to dinner with a loved one or a new date. What's your intention? How's that scene going to play out? You get to decide, always, with your intentions. Right, with your beliefs. The space you enter into is the movie set where the scene takes place. Every space, remember, you not only create the experience, you create the space that the experience takes place in. Look around you, you create all of that. It's all streamed through your consciousness. This is big, right? So you become deliberate and conscious as opposed to unaware and reactive. That's big. So let's continue on this, guys. You become aware of your movie sets or the scenes or the space ahead of time and you intend your desired reality. You choose your identity or what version of yourself you are creating or what version of yourself is going to show up, right? You decide. You decide it all. You create the space by projecting it and you enter into the space and experience it. Hear this. So you create the space in which you're experiencing everything in your life. Right? You create the space by projecting it and then you enter into the space and experience it. You forget, and here's what happens. So what happens when we get caught up in 3D or you're staring at 3D? You forget you created it. You resist it. Then you get more stuck and more convinced of its reality and realness. Hear this. You get more stuck. You get more convinced that it's real. The more you stare at it, the more you resist it, right? Or you're trying to create a new reality within the limited context of your current unwanted reality. Do you hear that? You're trying to create a new reality within the limited context of your current unwanted reality. In other words, you're not leaving your old reality behind. It's like walking into a room trying to take the other room that you were just in with you. Hear that? You can't take the old room with you. You've got to leave the old room and walk into the new room. You've got to leave the old reality and walk into the new reality. You've got to leave your old version of yourself and occupy the new version of yourself. This is big today. So here you are. That black box represents current 3D reality or the space or the scene. That blue line represents your intended reality. Hear this. You're trying to create your new reality within the context or the space of that already manifested 3D reality that is unwanted. And then you get stuck there. You're trying to create the new reality without releasing the old. This keeps you limited and stuck in the old reality. Remember, all reality creation, it's all about limiting yourself purposely, right? To manifest or experience the wanted, right? Remember, your consciousness, you're totally unlimited. But we limit ourselves to experience certain aspects of reality, certain aspects of all that is, right? So all creations are limited by your beliefs. You as a creator, as consciousness, are unlimited in that which perceives all limited creations. So you're unlimited, your consciousness, and you are also all that perceives those limited creations, right? You're the perception and the perceiver, right? To create a new reality, you enter or occupy the space of the movie scene. You identify with it as the new version of yourself and align with it, sync up with it. And then it becomes that new reality and that new you. You occupy it. You align with it, you sync up with it, you correspond with it, right? That's reality creation. It's limiting yourself, but you can limit it to what you want, right? Remember, you're unlimited beings, constantly limiting yourself or conditioning yourself to a certain reality, right? To create your desired reality, you limit yourself to what you want, right? You identify with a specific viewpoint, belief, and perception that filters out everything that doesn't match it or correspond with it. That's how you create your new reality. You've got to leave the old one behind, right? And identify with a new viewpoint, a new belief, a new perception that will filter out all that doesn't match it or correspond to it. That's how you create your reality. You're limiting yourself, but you're limiting yourself to what you want. Right now, you're limiting yourself to what you don't want, and you're staring at it and not as it. Hear this, right? You're not identifying it with those new beliefs or with that new you, right? In other words, you enter a room or space or movie scene by leaving the old one behind. You can't take the old movie scene with you. You can't take the old room with you. You can't take the old self with you. You got to leave that behind. And if you don't, you get stuck. And that creates resistance by trying to take the room or the old you with you. Every space corresponds to a different you and a different reality. Hear this. If every space that you enter, every new segment of your day, every new movie scene corresponds to a different you and a different reality, when you don't leave the old you behind, you create resistance. That's why that resistance feels like negativity. That's why it feels bad. Because that's the resistance you're creating by not leaving the old you behind. That's why you feel so crappy sometimes when you're trying to create your new reality, because you're not leaving the old one behind. That's what creates the resistance, right? So what do? Well, you leave the old one behind. Let's talk about this. So try this. This is a 3D reality busting technique, right? Here you are now, the unwanted 3D, and you're resisting it. And as you resist it, you start even condemning it. And again, you get more stuck in it. See it shrinking? You're feeling more trapped in it. And then as you resist it and condemn it, you start detesting it. And you feel even more trapped. 3D reality your current 3D reality starts closing down around you. And you feel stuck. You feel immersed and attached to it. You feel like there's no way out. Right? That's because you're staring at it. So what do? Well, this is your old unwanted reality. Step 1, leave the room. Walk out of the room and leave the old room. Stop trying to take the old room with you. Maybe you could take a picture or a lamp, but you can't take the entire room with you. And then connect with all that is. Go back within that silence within. We talked about that. Closing your eyes, going within that silence. This is what the ancients call be still and know that I'm God. Right? And now you're not in any defined room or reality. You're just one with that awareness. You're just going within. You're breathing easy, right? In and out. You're closing your eyes. You're now in the corridor of infinity. Hear this. Step 3, imagine you are in the corridor of infinity. Now you're going to use your imagination, right? You're going to come out of that stillness and you're going to still there, but with your eyes closed. But now you're going to imagine that you're in a corridor, and that's infinity, right? And then step 4, in that corridor, you suddenly see that there are doors on either side of the corridor. They suddenly become visible to you, right? Before you could just see a corridor without end. And now the doors become visible. These doors represent a room or reality or a new version of yourself. A preferred desired reality. Each room is labeled with a desire or a desired reality. It could be me married to my SP, me on a tropical vacation, right? Me with 3 kids, whatever it is, whatever you want, me with a pile of money, right? All those rooms have a different desire, a different version of yourself. And each room represents a different version of yourself and a different version of reality, right? And then step 5, choose the door of your preferred reality. And then 6, enter in that door. Feel yourself turn the knob. And as you enter through, open the door and walk through that new reality. Walk in. That's about walking into your new reality. You're walking through the door, right? All the ancients said it. They talked about the door to consciousness. This is the door to consciousness. This is the door to your new reality. And then immerse yourself in it, right? This is what it would look like. Here's the door of your new reality. This is the doorknob. And this says, I'm married to my SP, family, fun. Maybe it's Christmas time. And that door represents the living room. And here, as you walk in, you enter the new reality as the new version of yourself. And there you are. You enter in that new version of yourself. And you are with your SP, you're with your kids. There's presents under the tree, right? This is what you can do. This is the power in your imagination. And then imagine, put yourself in that, stay in it. Look around the room. What do you see? Maybe you see pictures of your wedding or your honeymoon, right? Maybe you see the kids' toys all around, scattered all around. What do you see in the room? What does it imply? What implies that you're married and you're with your SP? Then you can come out of that imaginal act. And then it's done. You walk through the door in your imagination. You're now in that new reality. Now it must manifest as you persist in the fulfillment of that new reality, right? The key is to let go of the old identity. You've got to let go of the old identity, the old reality, and the old room before you enter the new room of your desired reality. That's the reality busting technique. Try it today. That is how to walk into your new reality in a powerful 3D reality busting technique. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, or Instagram and Twitter at Tom Caron, our website at tomcaron.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com. Also, guys, if you have questions, you can comment on one of the videos underneath the comment section, and I can post those then on the Be Something Wonderful community board. Or if it's more private in nature and you don't want to release personal details, you can send me the question in an email at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com, and either I will answer it or I will reframe the question and post it as a general question on the community board. Okay, guys, I always love to hear from you, but sometimes I can't get to all of the volume is such that it's tough to get to all the emails and all the questions. But certainly, if you give me the question, I will definitely read it, and then I will definitely either do a video on it or post it on the Be Something Wonderful community board or respond to it. But we'll get to it for sure. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Until next time, with great love, this is Tom. See you soon.